Hi everybody, this is Nema Daghbandan here with Lightning Docs, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Ryan Saylor with Diya.
Hi, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Nema.
Ryan, we were just catching up a minute ago and talking about your business, and it's fascinating. So your story is very different than a lot of the other people that I know. So you were, if I recall correctly, you were doing diligence on behalf of institutional investors who were interested in investing either debt or equity with private loan originators. Talk me through that a little bit. Let me understand kind of what that was like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've had kind of an interesting path to getting here, which I think is not necessarily unique in this space. A lot of people have some interesting stories as to how they ended up running private lenders. But yeah, so institutional capital, 2015, 2016 was really starting to focus on this space. They saw the yields, they saw the attractiveness of what was occurring, and it was a fragmented industry. And so as we all know, since then, an incredible amount of capital has come in. We saw that, the consulting practice that we were running at the time, and so we just really started specializing in private lending, really enjoyed it. I've been in real estate for 20 years. A lot of it's been more on the agency side, consumer side, very heavy compliance. And so this space was just a lot more fun.
And that's interesting, right? So you're coming from this highly regulated background, and you're then being asked, going, okay, look, there's this private lending universe. Yeah. Go out there, and what was the ask of you? When they're asking you to diligence, what were they asking you to do?
Yeah, so we worked for warehouse lenders, prior to lines being put into place or renewals. We did multiple M&A, like buy side due diligence. Right. We did loan trading relationships, et cetera. So yeah, a lot of the different capital partners that people now use that are at these conferences. Yeah. I've worked with in different capacities.
And so you're going in there, and what are you doing? Are you evaluating their operations? Like, what do you actually? What does the diligence kind of consist of in this framework?
Yeah, it's mostly an operational due diligence. Yeah. So you're focused on the management team, the C-suite, operational controls, risk management infrastructure, those sorts of things.
And this is interesting because private lending is, as you know, such an entrepreneurial space, right? And so there really isn't a roadmap or a guidebook about how do you run a successful private lending business.
That's right.
Right? And so you're now doing all these interviews, and did you kind of come up? I mean, is there a blueprint that you were kind of able to hack through and saying, hey, after doing 100 of these, this is kind of the blueprint that I think is successful, or walk me through what you saw during all this time and what you learned.
Yeah, it was certainly an education on the space, right? And you see some things that you think are well done. You see other things that you're like, that's not how I would do it. And so it certainly helped inform me as I kind of went into the actual lending head first and started operating a lender. There's constant reminders from those days as I see things that are occurring or how to scale the business and different staffing strategies, different origination strategies, how to build out different types of channels, things like that you're kind of always leaning on. But that said, there's nothing like actually doing it. And I have an incredible amount of respect for the operators in this space that are running successful businesses, because it's a hard thing to do.
It's so funny.
So
that's the same. I feel the same way, right? My former life prior to Lightning Docs was being an attorney advising all these private lenders. Yep. And I've always told the people in our office, and I said, for me, I feel like I got a PhD in private lending just from listening to the voices in the room, the way they were discussing things, the way they were analyzing risk, the way they're thinking about their business and growing their business and how to scale their business. And was it a capital need? Was it a deal flow need? What were they trying to grow their way through? And so much of it I was able to take back into my own business and go, hey, we're thinking about things kind of incorrectly, or we should really kind of reevaluate the way we're thinking about our own businesses, because a law firm is not a private lender by all means, right? But it was really a valuable education we were getting at the same time. So you then made this big jump from, hey, I'm going to be the diligencing party, to I'm going to run one of these businesses as well. So tell me about Diya. Kind of what was the dream, and what are you trying to do there?
Yeah, absolutely. So because of the work that I was doing on the consulting side, obviously got to know a lot of the different players on the institutional capital, a lot of the players on Wall Street that are providing the capital to the space. And so through that, formed a really strong relationship with one of them that I've been working with in different capacities now for coming up on 8 years. Yeah. Really just strong relationship. And so when it came to capitalizing this business and launching it back just in October, we did that in partnership, and we've been off to the races ever since.
So if I understand correctly, you started with an institutional capital backer on day one.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's really an incredible success story, because it's very, so much of what we've seen before is that people work very hard and they may get a mortgage fund or they may try to scale their business up over time for the goal and seeking out an institutional capital source.
Right.
But you were able to harness your knowledge base of both best practices from those diligencing days, as well as the relationships from the institutional side and kind of understanding. So you're able to just kind of shortcut this whole process and start on day one where people spend years to get to.
That's right, yeah. I'm very fortunate to be in that position, and don't take it lightly. It's also a big responsibility.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's somewhat unique, as you stated. And I think what's most important is that you find alignment with your partner, right? And,
that's right.
So I'm fortunate that there is alignment on the same page on strategies and things of that nature to grow this business. And I think that's where sometimes these kinds of relationships can fall short. So
that's right.
I think we really just started originating a handful of months ago.
Yeah.
We're relatively new to the space, but we're growing very quickly.
Right.
And we're really excited about what the future holds for us.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about strategies for a second for Diya. So what is there give me an idea if you were to give me a quick elevator pitch on the strategy of Diya. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, sure. So we're multi-channel national lender. So we are lending in nearly every state. There's a handful of the kind of smaller states that we're not currently lending in. And so we kind of think of the world in both, product types and channels. And so we do RTL, ground up construction, and DSCR. Right now we're heavily focused on the DSCR loan product.
Right.
So we do have a retail channel, relatively small. We're lending to people we know. We have a number of projects going on, but again, this is people we know in our markets where
right.
we have people. It's a very direct kind of relationship. And then we have our TPO DSCR business,
yes.
Which is really our primary focus, and we expect that to be our primary focus for quite some time.
Yeah.
We think that the market, and obviously with rates ticking down, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for DSCR over the next, I would say at least year.
That's right.
And so what we did was we've developed a white label TPO process.
That's right.
And we really prefer to work with RTL lenders. So our client base is primarily local and regional RTL lenders, sophisticated people that we know, or our head of sales, his name is Jason Harris, very well-known guy in the space. He joined us in March, and so between all of the consulting work I've done in this space, and then Jason's, very experienced.
That's right.
He knows everybody.
Yes.
And so, we've really leaned into relationships of, hey, we actually trust these people.
Yeah.
We think they're good people.
Yeah.
And we want to scale alongside them and allow them to essentially have access to our capital.
That's right.
And make themselves more competitive.
That's
and so that's been working really well for us. I think that the differentiators are, one, just customer service.
Sure.
We are really, really focused on making sure that our partners know exactly what's going on with every loan at any given time, because we recognize they're managing a borrower relationship on the other side.
That's right.
And so when it comes to scaling our pipeline and growing, we're hiring like crazy. We're growing quickly because we just understand the importance of that. We don't want to mess that up as we get larger.
Right. That's right. Because you're making promises out there to your real estate investor. I want to make sure that I'm going to be on the back end there to support you, so that there's a seamless process all the way through.
And that's actually the support is, I think, the other differentiator. So it's our credit risk, right? And so we want to control the credit risk as much as we can. Our goal is to create high quality loans with high quality relationships. We don't want to. The margin for error in this space is small.
That's right, especially with an institutional investor. That's right.
That's right. And so we're very focused on quality from a credit perspective. And so what we've figured out is that we can actually provide a lot of support to our partners.
Yes.
By helping with some of the back office processing and underwriting and closing stuff that oftentimes with these white label models, it's more of here's a full file, now let's close.
Right.
So we're heavily involved really throughout the process.
Yes.
We're locking at the time of signed LOI, which is a little unique. A lot of people wait till the appraisal comes in. And so we're really just focused on like that experience, making sure the end borrower has a great experience. And if we can help our partners from a capacity standpoint, even better. So it really is working well, and it's where the business is focused.
That's where my brain was on this, which is it's really come full circle for you, which is you're able to take all this consulting experience and understanding what makes for great operations, and you're able to impart that even with your originating partners as well. And so it really is this: I will be a capital source for you, but I'll also be a back office support for you from all the best practices we've learned along the way. And so you're really kind of almost creating a better standard of loan all along the way too. It's really impressive.
Yeah, that's right. That's the goal. And I think it's clearly not just me. I have a really good team. We've brought on a really great leadership team.
Yeah.
Our head of operations, Chris Meinhardt, he's got a great background.
Yes.
If you know Chris,
Yes.
I think he's done some stuff with Jurassic in the past. And so he's done an excellent job of building out our operations, our processes, our systems. Yeah. We're very focused on risk management.
Yep.
So he's done a fantastic job. And then, like I said, Jason joining was a big deal to us back in March. And so I think we're really filling out the team nicely, and we're very excited.
And so you all chose to use Lightning Docs, and give me an understanding of why. Why did you choose Lightning Docs for the loan document side of your business?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's convenience. So what we like about it is we want to be able to draw our own loan docs, but we need to have confidence in what we're ultimately putting out there from a legal and compliance perspective. And so the fact that it's a law firm, and you guys are constantly keeping up with regulations and different compliance considerations. Oftentimes, sometimes are a little bit gray, and as a lender, you might not know how should I handle this?
That's right.
It's really nice to have that knowledge backing the docs, and then, like I said, our ability to just generate them ourselves and get closings done without having to go through some type of third-party legal review.
I was going to say,
really helps.
We've got this institutional investor, and were they fine with the documents? Were they, was there any sort of back and forth you needed to have with your institutional capital partner?
Oh yeah, of course. There's always back and forth, which is super healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, naturally, you guys are huge in the space, very well known, and I don't know what the market share is, but I'd imagine it's pretty high across the loan doc space in private lending. So
it's 60%. But go on.
I'll set you up there. So it's been a great partnership, and I mean, we leverage Jurassic for a number of other things as well. And so, yeah, very, very important relationship for us.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for sitting down and taking your time out here.
Absolutely, thank you.
Congratulations, I'm so excited. And a year from now, I'm very excited to sit back down again and hear the story and where you've been.
Well, I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Nema.
Take care, Ryan.
Appreciate it.